Hi everyone, my name is Sausan Askar and I'm here today to talk to you about my view of HIV/AIDS. HIV/AIDS is as much a social and cultural phenomenon as it is a biological entity. In 2011, there were 34 million people in the world living with HIV/AIDS, with approximately 500,000 in the Middle East. This data suggests the region has a fairly low prevalence of 0.2%, and this is one of the reasons that the Middle East has received little attention. But low prevalence doesn't equate to populations that are at low risk, nor to a situation of low priority. HIV-related topics are still taboo, and there's very little research that's taken place on HIV/AIDS in the Middle East, so it's difficult for people to have preventive knowledge or to seek treatment. The recent uprisings also don't help, since HIV epidemics can be sensitive to alterations in social stability. To address this issue, then, we first need to understand it. So my work is focused on analyzing how HIV/AIDS in the Middle East is conceptualized and discussed. Essentially, it's discourses. Discourse analysis investigates the form and function of what is said and written. How we make sense of the world is culturally determined, and this is reflected in the languages that we speak. Understanding these discourses can help us to understand how HIV/AIDS is used to assert various fears and moral narratives, and this is significant because these interpretations can then affect official policies and public attitudes. So as a pilot study, I completed a review of 5 newspapers from Jordan, Lebanon, Qatar, Oman, and Saudi Arabia. Newspapers are excellent artifacts because they provide a series of snapshots of Arab life and culture, and media is usually the only source of health and sexual information in the Middle East. From this review, I understood that articles on HIV/AIDS are mostly descriptive, and they exclude the more important how and why questions that address the increasive rates in the Arab world and the conditions in which transmission occurs. Little mention is made of the need for preventive and educative action, let alone mention of safe sex and injection drug use. Another interesting trend is the subtle but clear othering. An example comes from an article emphasizing that 667 of the total 928 cases treated in Jordan in 2012 were non-Jordanian patients, and making it clear that they acquired HIV outside of Jordan. This process of transference of HIV/AIDS onto another is noticeable in these articles, sending the message that the root of this issue is not to be found within their societies. So these pieces are what I like to describe as fluff. What is not said is actually much more interesting than what is said. They present a snapshot of the Arab world as either unwilling or unable to fully come to terms with the fact that HIV/AIDS has become a part of their reality. For my larger dissertation project, my methodology consists of 2 main data collection efforts: discourse analysis of 29 newspapers and interviews with individuals from Arab countries. And overall, I am hoping that this understanding can serve in the development and strengthening of education, treatment, and prevention policies that are appropriate for the cultural and religious context of the Middle East. Thank you for listening.